Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're checking out a little bit more of Ride 5. So, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now I wanted something a little bit more, how do I say? I wanted something, I wanted to go ahead and take a little bit better look at this for you so that you know exactly what you're buying. We're going to be looking at like the tracks that are with it. We're going to be doing some cockpit cam racing. Right now is what we're looking at is the bike detail. If you look really closely at this, you can kind of see that they are definitely using an upscaler in this. This is the Xbox Series X version. Now it looks really nice, really pleasing on the eyes. I sit about 3-4 feet away from my screen. When I'm playing this, I'm sitting in my racing cockpit. My sim racing cockpit, and I'm sitting there playing it. I'm getting a pretty good, distance. Not too far away from it, not too close, but I am kind of seeing like some visual noise when it comes to the overall visual aesthetic of the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jump into a track. We're going to go ahead and jump into, gosh dang it, into Imola. Yeah, we're going to do Imola real quick. We're going to check this out. We're going to be doing this. Most of everything in this video is going to be in cockpit cam. I am recording this voiceover after the fact. There was a big section of this that had like the music in it, and they usually copyright strike me if I have that in there. So I wanted to just go ahead and not lose all of this footage. Plus my voice was a little bit toned down. You couldn't really hear me all that well. So, because I was sitting kind of far away from the microphone over there in my sim racing setup. So it was a little bit jarring, to be completely honest with you. So I just wanted to get a little bit better sound on this one for you. So we are doing this in cockpit cam. One of the things I want to really emphasize about this experience is this feels absolutely incredible. I didn't know that chicane was there. It kind of caught me off guard. Threw me off the bike. That really sucks. I didn't hit it again like that, but I totally spaced it. There was going to be that chicane there. I'm usually used to running this track in a GT3 car over on like a Assetto Corsa or something, or Automobilista 2. So one of the things I really want to stress about this is the visuals of this game have not been updated over Ride 4. It looks absolutely identical. If anything, the resolution looks like it might be using a different type of upscaler for this version that does not look as good as Ride 4. Ride 4 does look superior for the most part. This does look a little bit fuzzy in the bushes and the trees. When you look through the glass up and over through it, you'll see like some visual noise, stuff like that. I know I am going a little bit hard on this when it comes to like the visuals, but you have to understand the marketing for this game was next gen racing experience. This is essentially could have been, I mean, this is like a cut down version of Ride 4, honestly. We're missing some of the tracks while we did gain a couple of tracks. But the overall experience to what this game is could have literally been fixed. They could have just added the new handling model to Ride 4, and it would have been pretty much the same game. And that's frustrating, especially for somebody like me that paid the $90 to get the 3-day early access so that I could make content for this game. I mean, that kind of sucks. It's kind of like what I call the streamer tax. It is what it is. All streamers probably go through it in the beginning of their streaming career before they turn into shills for gaming companies. You know the drill. You know the drill. Now, as a paying customer of somebody that buys these games and likes to play these, Ride 5 is kind of... I'm not even going to lie to you, man. Like, when you get in here expecting to be blown away visually, you will not be. And that's going to put you in a position to where you're feeling like I'm feeling right now. Like, I'm feeling like, why was this even necessary? If there's not a big enough upgrade, like visual-wise, I'm the kind of person that feels like it should be consistent. The bike looks way better than the tracks. It looks way better than the environment. And so when you get the bike on there and you're looking at the environment and you're like, wow, man, the bike looks absolutely incredible, because it does, and you can see that. You can see that the detail in the bike is extremely high. Looks very, very nice. The overall visual clarity of the bike, very impressive. It is very impressive. It looks very, very nice. But then you juxtapose that with the overall image quality of the game, and it just kind of doesn't fit the. It feels out of place. Like, it feels out of place. You feel like you're driving like a next gen bike on a PlayStation 3 track. And that's the easiest way I can sum that up, is you look like you're on a track from like the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 generation on a bike that is completely next gen. Like, the bike looks incredible. Okay, so let's talk more about, like, the overall driving sensation. Now, you can see that, like, this right here in cockpit view, most of the time this is a little bit more tricky to do this type of racing, but the way they've built this, and the way they've built the handling, the way they've built the overall physics of this game, it feels a lot better. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the overall feel of the bike. It feels planted. It feels heavier. It feels more. It feels like you're going around the track. And and I'm using a controller. Obviously I'm using the Xbox controller. I'm using the Elite Series 2 Xbox controller for this. And you can tighten up the joysticks, all of that on there. I'm using that, and in the rumble, you can feel like you can feel like your tire grip on the road. Like, you have a better overall sensation of how the bikes feel in this game as opposed to Ride 4. I would say out of everything they've upgraded on this, I mean, maybe even the sky cap looks a little bit better, but overall, mainly the biggest improvements are in the handling and how the bikes feel as you're riding. Like, it does feel significantly better, and it's kind of hard to explain that. Ride 4 was pretty touchy game. Like, you would hit the brakes and it would just kind of become super unstable. But these bikes here, they feel a lot more stable. They feel a lot more responsive to what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. The overall grip levels of the tires definitely feels better. Like, when you go into a turn and you feel the tires grip and you kind of feel it in the controller, like that feedback, you get that feedback, you're like, oh, okay. And you feel like you feel like you have grip. Not just looking like it has grip, you feel like you have grip. So that gives you a little bit better sense of the overall experience. It is kind of hard to explain, but once you get on these bikes and you start riding, you'll feel it immediately. You'll feel it immediately just how much more responsive and good the bike feels. Now, I will tell you, when I first started, I was expecting it to feel closer to Ride 4 or MotoGP 23. Like, I was expecting that feeling. But once I got on there and I'm driving, and I'm still, kind of, with the same type of overall muscle memory and stuff like that I would be feeling, like the PTSD from those other games, I would be feeling, I would think I was feeling that, but it did take me a minute to kind of settle in and kind of understand exactly what the bike is doing or how the bike was feeling. So I did like 4 laps on over here or something in Imola, and I was, trying to have some fun with this. I mean, maybe I could have like cut out, some of these tracks, but overall, I feel like the overall driving and riding experience is definitely improved upon. When you get into this and you start to look at like the garage, the overall, the amount of tracks that are in here. Like, we're gonna look at those. We're gonna go through those, and we're gonna look at those As soon as this race is over, we'll be able to look into those. But when it comes to bike games, these are really hard to get right. They're really hard to get right. And I feel like this one here, the overall driving experience could definitely warrant the purchase, but I do have to bang on about visuals of this game. Like, I have to. You have to know before you get into this that this looks exactly like Ride 4. So if you, actually a little bit worse than Ride 4, to be completely honest with you, and if you are okay with that, then everything else is an improvement. Everything else is an improvement aside from the tracks that you do lose from Ride 4 versus the tracks that you get pretty much day one with this game. There is a lot. There is a lot. I'm not even gonna lie, man. My biggest disappointment with this game was getting on the Nordschleife and it absolutely not being upgraded from what it was before, and that really bugged me. Overall bike sound of this game, like the bikes still sound incredible. Like there's the sound is very, very nice. That there's never really been a problem. The overall visuals of the bikes have never really been a problem. So it's not something that you're gonna be able to like the visuals on the trackside detail and stuff is not something that you're gonna be able to I mean, you'll be able to ignore it after a while once you're immersed in the experience and the racing. I didn't do any like actual racing with anybody in this video, but I did do some racing with the other riders on the track, and I'll tell you right now, like it feels a little bit more balanced. Like you have a little bit more, you do have a little bit more leeway. Like when like if you bump them or you ride them or you hit them or they hit you or something. But if they hit you from behind, you're done. Like you're done. Like if you brake too early and they run into the back of you, you're kind of done. And that's like one of the problems that I was having at first when I first started playing around with it was due to the fact that like I was still thinking of like Ride 4 physics and Ride 4, how Ride 4 feels. And that right there kind of had me in like a little weird like a little weird mindset when I first started playing this. But after you get in there and you start playing around with it and you start really seeing, like, we're going to go to the UMC, the Utah Motorsports Raceway real quick. We're going to do one lap there. We're going to do one lap on another track. But this here, like, I'm from Utah. This place is about 20 miles away from where I live. So it's it's pretty cool to actually have this track in here. But right when I loaded into this and I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, man, this just looks so bland and so like unappealing. Like it doesn't look realistic. It just looks unappealing for the most part. And I'm slightly disappointed about that. But I feel like the overall like handling and model, like I've been banging on about in this whole video, and you guys are probably getting sick of hearing about it. You're probably like, oh, and here's something else. That's like one of the main things. You know what I mean? Like that is probably the most important thing in the racing game, and I do kind of feel like they nailed it in this one. I do kind of feel like Milestone actually nailed the experience. It's not too hard. It's not super duper easy. The bikes have better traction, and you'll notice that. Like when you jump on there and you start going around some of these hairpins and some of that stuff, or getting into these chicanes, and how the bike handles and moves and feels through them, it feels more consistent. I would say it feels closer to how it would probably feel if you were on a real bike. You know what I mean? Like you would be able to feel those sensations, where on here you can feel them a lot better. On this overall experience. So I do like that. This is a very interesting track to drive. It's very flat. There's not a whole lot of markers and stuff like that. That it is one of those ones that you have to drive a few times to really pick up and really start learning where like the turns and everything are. I kind of wish it wasn't so flat, and I wish there were things to kind of look at and kind of gauge where you're at. I mean, obviously there's the marker boards and stuff like that'll pop up, whenever whenever you're getting ready to go into a turn and stuff. So you'll just have to find some of that stuff so that you can gauge where you're at on this track. This is an interesting one, man. Like one day I would really like to go there and drive either a bike or a car around this track. I think that'd be awesome, man. I really do think that would be awesome. What else? There's definitely more to talk about this game. When it comes to, I mean, there's a pretty significant amount of upgrades that you can do in this game now. There's more of the there's like an editor, stuff like that in here. You do have split screen if that's your thing. If you could physically if you could physically play a racing game with two people on the same screen at one time, that more power to you. There's no way I could concentrate on that, but that is there if that's something that you if that's something that you would want. There is cross-platform play, so you can play multiplayer with other people, like on PlayStation, PC, stuff like that. There is cross-platform play. What else? There's obviously you got your character creator, not character creator, but your character editor. You can edit your character. You can edit. I mean, you can obviously swap out parts and stuff on your bike still. This is pretty much the Gran Turismo of bike racing, and that's kind of what it's been pegged at, for a while now. Like that's kind of the overall experience that you get at it. And to be completely honest with you, man, like seeing like the visuals, the track details and stuff, it's almost like they took a page right out of Gran Turismo 7's book, and we're like, yeah, we'll just leave everything the same, man. We don't need to do anything. Everything already looks fine. The pop-in and everything's the exact same. So it's interesting. I know that I didn't spend a whole lot of time with this game before doing this review. Like I get that, but man, when you've played as many of these racing games as I have, and you've played and you've spent as many hours as I have in these, like I will eventually put more time and more effort into like this one here, because I really do like the handling. Right now we're going to go ahead and look at the tracks in the in Europe. Going to go through here and show you which ones are on there. Mangi Kors, you got Nordschleife, you've got the Nürburgring GP, you've got Brands Hatch, Cadwell Park, Donington Park, Oulton Park, Snetterton Circuit. You still got Southern 100. That's that. I think that's like one of those tracks they put in here. Northern Ireland. Ulster GP. You've got a Mola, obviously. You got Monza, you got Mugello, and then Autodromo Algarve. You got Circuit de Almeria. I didn't remember that one. I think those ones are new. I'm pretty sure these three are new. So they're three tracks, but it's one track, but they broke them into three different ones. And then you've got Ricardo Tormo for those ones. I think, and then the Japanese tracks, you've got Kanto, Autolopolis, Okayama, Sugo, Suzuka Circuit, Tsukuba, and Kailami. And then we're going to go ahead and jump into Kailami and do a lap on here and let you guys check this out. And then like in the other part of the other video, I had like some end thoughts about the game, but this one here, I like the way I decided to do this better than what I already had recorded, because some of it was a little bit disparaging, and I would much rather be nice about it. So this right here, Kailami, this Ride 4 actually really helped me study Kailami and learn the turns and everything on here, because I sat here and just rode around on this one a lot on Ride 4. I put a lot of laps on Kailami in Ride 4, so I kind of have like a I fell in love with Kailami pretty quick. I like this track layout. I'm really excited to see that come to Forza Motorsport next, in October. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm looking forward to really playing that. I really wish that Milestone would make their games play anywhere. Especially with the fact that like Xbox and PC, is pretty good. I feel like it would definitely help them out, especially for people like me that would really like to be able to play both versions of the game and not have to sit and hope that Milestone will send me a copy of it. But if Milestone does stop by and watch this, I really, really hope that they would, consider sending me a PC code, because there's no way I'm buying a second copy of this one. There's no way. There's no way. Not for full price, anyways. I mean, maybe down the road if I find it in like a Steam sale or something, maybe I'll pick it up if it's cheap. But as it sits right now, like I don't know. I do like the overall feel of the bikes. I do like the overall feel of the driving in this. I like the way it. I do. I absolutely like how this game turned out. It really is. In terms of like handling and driving and the quantity and quality of the overall bikes is incredible. Like it's absolutely incredible. There's tons of bikes in this game. There's lots of DLC that's planned to come to this game, and that does kind of suck because I feel like some of the tracks they cut out are ones that they're gonna try to resell us in an overall pack again, and that kind of sucks, man. So we're gonna go ahead and stop, and we're gonna look at the bike. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the third person view of this bike here in just a second. I don't remember exactly when, but I was talking about how the down the field kind of looks a little bit blurry, how it almost looks like 1080p, but I mean the visuals. I mean, obviously, if you liked Ride 4 and you thought Ride 4 looked good, then you'll probably think this one looks good. I do kind of feel like Ride 4 looked a little bit better than this. I do feel like this one has a better skybox, though. To be completely honest with you, I think the skybox does look a little bit better in here. But when it comes to like the overall like visual quality of this game, it pretty much just looks like it pretty much just looks like Ride 4. Look at this wheelie. We're gonna do a wheelie. We're gonna go. So I do kind of caution you, before going into this, if this is something that you want to buy, if you want to, put your money into this. There's a lot of games coming out. If bike racing is like your thing, I do think that you will really appreciate the overall handling model in this game. I do feel like it feels a lot better. It's a lot more intuitive. As you can see, like through this part right here, I was just going through and talking about how you could pretty much do insane things on these bikes now that you just couldn't do on Ride 4. They feel a lot more stable. They feel a lot more planted on the ground. Overall, the way they feel, it is a lot better, and that might be worth it for you. That honestly, right there, might be worth you wanting to buy this game, because it does 100% hit the mark. I think they hit the nail on the head with this. I really do. I think the driving is actually fun now. I think it's intuitive. I think it feels better than it's ever felt before, and it looks good. It obviously looks good. They got the cockpit camera really nicely. It looks really nice. So yeah, I actually do. There's a lot more to this game than just the visuals, but man, I know the visuals, for me anyways, I was really hoping and looking forward to seeing a better looking, overhaul of like the visuals, like trackside details, stuff like that. And yeah, overall it doesn't look bad. It just it's starting to look dated. It's starting to look dated, and there's no other, and there's no real nice way to say that. There's nothing you can really say to make that any better. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.